Hi guys, welcome to our YouTube channel REL. Now we are going to learn geometry basics. That is the introduction of any type of geometrical aspects. In ancient days, geometry was developed for the practical purpose of constructions, surveying and various crafts. The earliest records regarding beginning of geometry started around 3000 BCE by Egyptians, Greek, Babylonians and Indus Valley civilization. But geometry was first established as a subject by famous Greek mathematician Euclid, 325 BCE to 265 BCE. So, Euclid is called as the father of geometry. In Greek, geo means earth and metron means measurement. In Egypt, the Nile River was flooded annually, causing great damage to the nearby lands. So, there was a lot of confusion to find the measurements of the exact land of their owners. In this situation, geometry helps them to survey and preserve the layout and ownership of the land. Very famous mathematicians and philosophers such as Euclid, Thales, René Descartes, Archimedes and Pythagoras created a base in geometry for further innovations. What is geometry? Geometry is a significant part of mathematics. It includes the study of properties of shapes and measures. That is, the study of diagrams, shapes, sizes, distances, angles, positions, diagonal, perimeter, area, volume, symmetry, etc. Nature explains simple geometrical shapes and patterns from tiny atoms to huge galaxies. We can observe patterns in both nature and man-made things. For example, the patterns in leaves, flowers, movements of celestial bodies, etc. as in nature, and the patterns of fabric designs, buildings, etc. as in man-made things. Thus, we can see many objects in our life with geometrical ideas. What is the use of learning geometry? Studying geometry helps to improve logical thinking skills, deductive reasoning, analytical reasoning, and problem solving skills. Some uses of geometry in our daily life: construction of buildings, surveying lands, art, interior design, computer graphics. As geometry related with shapes and measures, we must have some space to mark, to draw, to measure anything. For this, great mathematicians like Euclid and René Descartes introduces spaces in geometry. They introduced three axes which are mutually perpendicular to each other. This is the horizontal axis, generally denoted as x-axis. Now, this is the vertical axis, generally denoted as y-axis. Angle between both x-axis and y-axis is 90 degree. That is, both x-axis and y-axis are perpendicular to each other. Now, this z-axis which is perpendicular to both x-axis and y-axis. In short, any two axes are perpendicular to each other. Thus, x, y and z axes are mutually perpendicular. The common point of these three axes is denoted as O. This point O is called as the point of origin. We get so much space in all directions. Now we are going to learn about geometrical concepts such as point, curve, line, line segment, collinear points, non-collinear points, ray, arc length, angles, planes, coplanar lines, non-coplanar lines, skew lines, etc. in this video. Points. What is a point? See, these are 4 points. Each point describes a specific location or position in space. A point has no size, that is, a point has no length, no breadth and no height. Therefore, we can't measure a point. A point has no dimension, that is, a point has 0 dimension. A point is not measurable. Now, I am naming these points like this: Arvind, John, Lada and Ravi. See, the first letter is always in English capital letter. Now, we shall name these points as A, J, L and R. Thus, we have to name a point using English capital letter only. How does a point occur in geometry? A point may occur in end of a line segment, corner, that is vertex of a triangle, square, etc. Intersection of two lines, curves, etc. Curve. If you draw many points very closely like this, we get a curve. But this is not straight. If we know both starting point and ending point of a curve, then it is measurable. But this curve has no starting point and no ending point. Therefore, the length of this curve is not measurable. Line. A line is a set of points that stretches straightly, infinitely in opposite directions. The arrows on the ends shows that the line extends infinitely in both directions. A line has only length but no width. Therefore, a line is a one-dimensional object. Since this line passes through the points A and B, this line can be expressed as line AB. Consider 2 points C, D between the points A and B. Now, lines AC, AD, CD, CB and DB will represent the same line AB only. A line may be represented with single small letter such as L, M, N, etc. Classical example for a line is number line. The number line has no starting point and no ending point. Therefore, we can't find the length of a line. Thus, a line is not measurable. Line segment. If I cut this line in 2 points like this, the remaining part is a line segment with starting point P and ending point Q. Now, this line segment is represented as PQ and measurable. The length of this line segment PQ is equal to 10 cm. Note that a line segment is also an one-dimensional object. Collinear points. If three or more points lie in a same line, then that points are called as collinear points. Here the points A, B and C are lie in a same line. Thus the points A, B and C are called as collinear points. But the points D, E, F and G are not lying in this line. Therefore, the points D, E, F and G are called as non-collinear points. An example of collinear points is the center of a circle and the end points of its diameter are always collinear points. Intersecting lines. When two lines cross each other, they are called as intersecting lines. Here the lines L and M intersect at the point O. Point O is called as the point of intersection of the lines L and M. Ray. Sun is emitting its light in all directions. Some beam of light does not touch our earth but goes on traveling. This is an example of ray. That is, a ray has a starting point O passing through a point P, but it has no end. This ray is named as ray OP. Since a ray travels in only one direction, a ray is a one-dimensional object. Since we didn't know the ending point of a ray, the length of a ray is not measurable. Arc. An arc is a smooth curve joining two endpoints. Basically, an arc is a part of the circumference of a circle. An arc is denoted as the symbol arc. Here, the arc is arc AB. Since the circumference of a circle is measurable, then the length of its arc is also measurable. Here, the length of the arc AB equal to 6 cm. Angles. How angles are formed? When two line segments or rays meet at a common endpoint, an angle is formed. Definition. The measure of deviation of two line segments or rays from a common endpoint is called an angle. For example, angle is formed with the door and the wall when it is opened. Angles are measured using protractor. The unit of angle is degree. The standard method of measuring angle is in anti-clockwise direction. Using protractor, we shall measure angles from 0 degree to 180 degree normally. Types of angles. Zero angle. If there is no angle is formed, then it is called as a zero angle. Here, the angle formed by the rays OA and OB at the point O is 0 degree. That is, angle AOB is equal to 0 degree. Acute angle. An angle whose measure is less than 90 degree is called as acute angle. For example, angle AOB is equal to 40 degree. Right angle. An angle whose measure is exactly 90 degree is called as right angle. Here, angle AOB equal to 90 degree. Right angle can be measured by set square also. Obtuse angle. An angle whose measure is greater than 90 degree and less than 180 degree is called as an obtuse angle. For example, angle AOB equal to 120 degree. Straight angle. An angle whose measure is exactly 180 degree is called as a straight angle. That is, the two rays together form a straight line. For example, angle AOB is equal to 180 degree. Reflex angle. An angle whose measure is greater than 180 degree and less than 360 degree is called as reflex angle. For example, reflex angle AOB is equal to 230 degree. Perpendicular lines. If two lines meet at right angle, then these two lines are said to be perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines are represented by the symbol perpendicular. For example, the corner angle of a rectangular table. Here, line AB is perpendicular to line BC. The angle between the minute needle and the hour needle of a clock at 3 o'clock. Here, PQ is perpendicular to QR. Parallel lines. Parallel lines are not intersecting lines and the perpendicular distance between them at any point is the same. Parallel lines are represented by the symbol parallel. For example, the opposite sides of a book are parallel. Here the perpendicular distance at any point is 20 centimeter. Thus, AB is parallel to CD here. The top bars in a parallel bar exercise is always parallel. Plane. A plane is a flat, two-dimensional surface that extends indefinitely in all directions. That is, a plane has infinite length and infinite breadth. But a plane has zero thickness, that is, no thickness like this. Formation of a plane. Consider this red color straight line. Arrange blue color perpendicular lines touching with this given line. All blue lines must be parallel. But this blue color perpendicular line is not parallel with the remaining blue lines already we selected. Therefore, don't consider this line. Arrange continuously and closely many parallel blue lines like this. Finally, we get this blue color plane. Thus, a plane can be formed by arranging infinite number of parallel lines which are perpendicular to the given line. Now one question. Can we form a plane by drawing parallel lines to a given line? Let's try. This is the given red color line. We can draw many blue lines parallel to the given red line. But this blue line is also parallel to the given red line. This blue line does not lie in the plane formed by other blue lines. Therefore, it is clear that we can't form a plane by drawing parallel lines to the given line. The plane formed by both x-axis and y-axis is denoted by xy plane. Similarly, we have yz plane and xz plane. Since a plane extends in two dimensions, a plane is a two-dimensional object. Remember that we have many planes other than the xy plane, yz plane and xz plane like this. Parallel planes. Planes which do not intersect anywhere and their perpendicular distances between them at any point are constant, that is same, are called as parallel planes. For example, the floor and ceiling of a hall are parallel planes since their perpendicular distance at any point remains the same. Perpendicular planes. If two planes intersect at right angles, then these planes are called as perpendicular planes. Since the angle formed by the floor and wall of a hall is perpendicular, then these planes are perpendicular. Concurrent lines. Three or more lines are said to be concurrent if all of them pass through the same point. In this figure, lines AB, CD and PQ passes through the common point O. Thus, lines AB, CD and PQ are said to be concurrent lines. Point of concurrency. The common point of all concurrent lines is called as point of concurrency. Here, O is the point of concurrency. Coplanar points. If three or more points lie in a same plane, that points are called as coplanar points. Here, the points A, B, C and D are lie in the same plane. Therefore, the points A, B, C and D are coplanar points. But the points P and Q does not lie in this plane. Therefore, the points P and Q are non-coplanar points. Coplanar lines. If two lines lie in a same plane, then they are called as coplanar lines. The top bars of a parallel bar axis is an example for coplanar lines. Another example, here lines L, M and N are lying in this plane. Therefore, the lines L, M and N are coplanar lines. But the lines G and H does not lie in this plane. Therefore, the lines G and H are non-coplanar lines. Note that any two intersecting lines must be coplanar. Skew lines. Watch these two lines AB and CD. Clearly, these two lines are not parallel and does not intersect. Then what about these lines? Definition. Two non-intersecting lines from different planes form skew lines. Here, the two lines AB and CD are not intersecting and lying in different planes. Therefore, these two lines AB and CD are skew lines. I hope that you all understood geometry basics. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe our channel REL.